What's up, Zox fam? We're back with some more Chaos Zero Nightmare. Now, we have to get into some things that you may not have realized are coming into the game, as well as some answers to certain things that a lot of players have been asking about for Chaos Zero Nightmare. Now, I'm actually really excited to talk about this, but quick PSA, all right? I'm going to have some timestamps, so if you want to skip ahead, you can. But if you are a Korean-speaking native, or if you are a Japanese native, or you just so happen to speak Korean or Japanese, please message me, hit me up, on Discord, or you can comment down below. However you need me to connect with you, I will do so. Reason being is obviously going to be, we're going to talk about that a little bit more in this video, but really more than anything, I just wanted to connect with more players outside of the region that I'm in, and also like not just workshopping and talking about different strats, but also information as far as news. I think it is really important that the news just be kind of like spread across the board so everybody kind of knows what's happening. And I think we can all agree that there are definitely some pretty big differences between the global live streams and then like JP and KR. So please, guys, if you understand Korean or if you understand Japanese, please reach out to me. I would really appreciate that. And so, yeah. That's my PSA. Now, let's go ahead and let's get into the important stuff. What exactly could you have missed? Now, with what was actually showcased on the Korean side, I'm actually going to have that link down below. The devs actually talked about a slew of different things in comparison, obviously, to the global live stream. Now, one of those things, obviously, is a December roadmap that they said should be coming sometime soon. I don't know when exactly it's going to be happening, but the great thing about this is that just like with this season, it's going to be allowing us to know what we're going to be possibly seeing, whether it be new cards, fates, characters, equipment, etc. You know how the roadmap goes. It may not give us the details, at least yet, but we'll at least know what is going to be coming. And this is great because this will allow those that are looking to save, for whatever character they may see presented. I would say personally, if you were still on the fence of trying to pull for Chizuru, I would wait until this roadmap drops. They may give you a little bit of a window so that you can decide if it's based off of looks or even just the theme of the next season, if that's something that you're interested in doing. So just want to kind of throw that out there just in case as the first thing, because I know a lot of people really care about what they're aiming for. And like I said, this game is all about your experience, not really so much, in my opinion, just about meta, right? Now, when we're actually addressing the topic of meta, I think that this is something that then kind of spilled over into another topic of conversation that was brought up, and it's content, right? So right now we have things like, if we go over to the simulation, we have content like the basin, right? Basin of hyperspace. Now, I need to go in here and do mine. Don't judge me. I just haven't gone and done it yet. I've been in Chaos Zero Lab. I've been in there all day. All right. Now, what they basically have stated is that they were trying to actually consider just adding or making or revamping, I guess, the basin altogether. But what they decided to do was just to make a whole separate, entirely different piece of content. The name that they said they had in the works is called the Spiral, or I think it's like the Spiral Tower of Screams or something like that. And what's really cool about this content is that it's supposed to allow, and really it's being designed for slower team comps to be able to, I would say, get a little bit more limelight, right? Now, the thing with this too that's really important, and one of the bigger complaints that came with the Basin of the Hyperspace was things like turn limits, right? So turn limits are not going to exist in this next new content. It's also going to allow, like I said, tankier and also the more unconventional teams to be able to thrive and to have an opportunity to be able to have some content that they're, quote unquote, I would say, from what it sounds like, meta of, right? Now, this is, again, really just emphasizing less viable setups, bringing them more to the forefront. And this was the solution that I guess they came up with instead of adding an entirely new basin, like I said. So I honestly, personally think that that's pretty cool. Again, I'm just now finding this out. So, I wish that, like, again, they would talk about these things on the global side, but that's neither here or there. I'm just, again, really excited that that is something that is coming into the game, because for those that are like in love with Magna or love their Maribels or want to play with Amir or other characters, even Orlia, if you're going for like the slower like build-up builds, I feel like Orlia's probably going to be meta in there, but that's going to be like something that I feel like really allows those players, again, more content to be able to take advantage of, which I think is really cool. And then for those that have been focused on other things, it puts them in a position where, just like everybody else had to kind of make a shift to build certain things for the current content, those players are going to have to start building those things as well, so that they can make the slower stuff, so that they can get through that content, right? So I think that that's actually pretty cool. Now, the other thing that I think is really important to talk about here, because I know I see it as a topic of conversation even now, but the devs have already addressed the idea of buffing, right? Nerfing, no. Buffing, yes. Okay, can we say this together? Nerfing, no. Buffing, yes, right? So they have talked about that. They have collected data, and really more so, they're trying to consider units that are like kind of underused, giving them a little bit more value. You know, there may be potentially like some revamps or some, you know, different aspects of the characters kits that may be, you know, brought up more so that players want to play those characters more. I think with that being the case, they were also talking about like, now I don't know if that's like going to be the case, but like Orlia, I don't think they're going to really necessarily touch her, but I think that what they're trying to do is they're just trying to like kind of stabilize certain aspects of units. So I feel like certain units like Owen, they may actually do some adjusting to. I know they already have spoken about like characters like Yuki, giving her more of a single target focus in her build, but not necessarily like changing her altogether, but just making her able to be one or the other as far as her ability to do damage. So we may be seeing some characters. I don't know who exactly they're going to be doing these, like, you know, these changes to for buffing, but I will say, you know, I'm interested to know who you guys think they're going to buff, or who you think needs to be buffed, because to be real, I think a lot of characters are pretty powerful, but if they're going to be adding content where like slower, tankier stuff is just like more viable, I don't know if they should probably wait till after gauging on that, because who knows, characters may be super busted in that. And then also the next season stuff is coming as well. So I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see how that's going to go. But one thing they also did bring up too, and I'm pretty sure you guys have seen videos circulating about this stuff, is also the partners, man. Like this guy right here, Douglas, like there's like videos of people showing different strategies with like some of the 3-star partners. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I'm just one of those guys that just refuse to change mine. So a lot of the 3-star partners, they just have like, at base especially, and even just even with investment, the scaling is a lot more overtuned than they, I guess, were supposed to be. So they're a lot stronger than a lot of the, you know, some of the like higher rarity partners. Now, they address this as a thing that they are aware of, but they didn't necessarily say that they're going to be changing it anytime soon. I think the reason why, and the only thing I could really think of, is simply because of the fact that when you're looking at like changing or you know, like trying to tune the 5-stars, even a little bit too much of a tune just makes the 5-star stuff broken. And you don't want to tune something that like now, like say for example, like they do Westamacop, but now like people just don't have the same access they did like when it was up on banner. So that could also lead into like some potential things they may rerun for banners. Like if they do any like major buffs or adjustments, I think that those are always great windows to rerun banners. You can still have whatever new stuff you want, but if people really want those things, always, you know, having a window to rerun stuff, I think is pretty cool. It's pretty early though, so that's kind of a thing, but you know, that's what they do in the future anyway. You typically have an old banner being reran with something new, right? So that's just how it kind of goes. But nonetheless, that is something that they did mention. And like I said, I know some people are probably wondering or starting to make those investments. So I think we could be possibly soon seeing some adjustments to the partners so that those 5-star reciprocated partners are able to, you know, perform where they need to perform, right? Now, the other thing that, you know, they're really looking at too is the Unigram. Okay, so the Unigram was something that we just got added this update. I guess they wanted to make it a little bit more interactive. So with the Unigram, let me actually see if I can find this real quick. There we go. The Unigram right now is like just kind of like a message system. You go in here, you go meet, or you can go, talk, star, whichever character that you favor the most. You have like your messages here, so you can talk to whoever it is that you want to talk to. But they actually want to make this a little bit more interactive, even down, I guess, to like, the what's it called? It's the affinity, like special affinity mats and stuff like that, or items. They're trying to make sure that they implement like more specific things. Like if you give a character their unique item, they have a certain reaction to it. It's like they're just trying to world build, I guess, with that a little bit more. So that with more interactive behavior. And then also too, one thing they were talking about was like having more traumatized interactions as well, especially after the event of you triggering them being traumatized, I guess. So that I thought was also pretty cool. That's just like another thing that they're adding into the game. And I guess they're probably going to be rolling that out over time. Now, another thing, okay, and we talked about this on stream. This was something that some players were suggesting, but lucky enough for us, the devs already have talked about it, right? So this is actually talking about a system that allows you to be able to have an easier time maxing out characters. Now, like I was saying before, there were some people that were saying like they should do it like the AFK systems, like in some where some games like where you can just like say like you have like 5 characters that's in the top line, right? That's like kind of the basis of that system, and then you could just drop like 20 characters, and then they share levels with those 5 units, and it's based off of the lowest units value. So like if the lowest unit is 55 and the other is 60, then everybody that's in that is going to be 55. They're not doing anything like that, and I kind of figured they wouldn't, but I think that what they're going to do is something a little bit more similar to the Grace of Growth, which was something that was brought up. Granted, the Grace of Growth took some time to develop over time. Like I think now you have like more slots and stuff like that, but with the Grace of Growth and how it works, it allows you to be able to basically take the character's value up, basically to max. A lot of times it also will take up the skill ups, stuff like that, so you can actually see the potential of the character. Why is this good in this game? Because the devs are really trying to make sure, I guess, that more players are able to just play what they want, right? Before you decide to commit resources to them, they acknowledge the fact that they're aware that when you put stuff into characters, it's basically a dead character, or dead resources, I should say, when you decide that you don't want to use that character anymore, if you don't like that character's playstyle. So that was something that was mentioned, which I think is actually, again, good to see that they are acknowledging it. But like I said, I didn't know this until I went and actually looked, and it's like, wait a minute, this is like stuff they've already addressed, and there's still people complaining on the global side about these things. So they have addressed it at least, right? Now, another thing that they mentioned was the skip features that they wanted to add to the game. So one of those, of course, is going to be for the story. Now, I know for those of you guys that went through the story, it's already like said and done for us, but I guess for like newer players coming in, it just is going to make it easier. For any new story that comes in, we'll just have the ability to be able to skip that said story, and that's just going to again equal out to that save time. I also think that for some people, they just don't care about story. I personally like to read story, so I'll go through all these notes. Obviously, I think just for context, it may also help. They may add some stages like that in the future, but who knows, right? But either way, it is going to be something that I think a lot of players were asking for. Instead of it being kind of the fast forward function, it would just straight up be a skip. Now, for the dungeons itself, right? I know some players were asking about if they were going to add a skip function for that. Now, what they actually decided was that instead of doing a direct skip function, they were going to do a multiplier increaser, right? So, for example, instead of us actually doing like, say, the 60 energy for 3 attempts, which would actually be 3 fights, it's going to be the 60 energy for a 3 times multiplier for 1 fight. What that's doing is it's removing, like, let's say you're spending at my current cap 290 stamina plus whatever extra refills you may be doing. It's going to allow you to be able to actually do 1 fight per 60 energy instead of 3 fights per 60 energy. So if you're, say, doing, 5 fights, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 total fights or rounds that you just don't have to do, which equals out to save time, right? Now, the thing with that too is that I know some people were complaining like it's too hard, you know, team comps, etc. I think also part of that is also like your team setup. I don't think that takes that away from it, but I think that like as far as the time you put in, like I had a guy, side note, that came into my stream. He was like, dude, it takes me 39 minutes to do to do my dailies. And I was like, dude, that's a long time. I was actually like genuinely concerned. So yeah, with that, hopefully he no longer has to take 39 minutes to do his dailies. Again, I don't think this is necessarily the same sentiment or complaint for everybody else, but I will say that one thing that was seemed to be across the board complaint was just how much time you could take depending on the setup. They are decreasing that, and they've acknowledged it as a thing that they wanted to adjust and, you know, kind of fix. So I think that's actually pretty cool. Now, with all of that being said, I think some of the latter things that they also talked about was just really trying to bring more gear sets into the game. I think this also may lead to, and we may see like some adjustments being made to certain gear sets, because I think right now, like, there are some pretty good ones, don't get me wrong, there absolutely are. They also were kind of talking about like the new set for Instinct, and also the Void set was like, you know, really emphasizing units like, you know, obviously Chizuru. Somebody's gonna ask that question, can Chizuru use it? Yes, she can. Yeah, she's actually pretty good with it. But you also got characters like Ren, for example. And then of course, when you're also looking at the Instinct set, I think that's a little bit left up to like speculation, simply because that set is right now, like I've seen some people use it on like Orlia, but I think that there is going to be a Instinct character coming, right? Because it's like future proofing in a sense, like they're just preparing for that. So I've personally been like, when I've been doing any stamina towards memory fragments to farm for the second piece, I've been like just okay with farming both of those 4 bonus sets, because I know some people are like, it's kind of weird because the other dungeons have been 4 2 bonuses, and then this one is 2 4 bonuses instead of 1 4 bonus and 1 2 bonus, right? So I think that definitely seemed a little weird, but I think it's with the intent that it's technically allowing you to get 2 main sets at once, and I guess they already figured we've already been farming a whole bunch of 2 sets, so I figured the like Executioner set, the attack set are just going to be kind of like our baselines for a lot of builds, plus whatever 4 set bonus that we may want to go for the character. So I think that of course is pretty cool that they have more plans to add more, and I think that that's going to allow us to like not only enable more but change and diversify our builds a lot more as the game evolves. And this is going to be for old and new, because I don't think that they're just going to be implementing these gear sets and not thinking about older units. I don't think they've done anything in the game and haven't thought about older units. I feel like if anything, it's enabled a lot of the older units to perform extremely well. And also too, with the brand new units, it's obviously shining, you know, a lot of light on their value as well, right? But all in all, through and through, that's just about everything extra that they talked about in the KR stream. Granted, that is a lot more than the presentation of information that we get on global. And again, I don't want anybody to take this as like this is a creator issue, because it's really not. It's more so the information that's actually being given. You know, the KR streams, and like I said, going back to the beginning of the video, if any of you guys are a part of the KRJP community, speak Japanese, speak Korean, please message me, because again, it's like a completely different vibe. The devs are over there actually answering directly questions that they can answer, which is a lot different than just having people that don't have control over those set things running like our showcases and stuff like that. Because I think also too, what comes with that is they just have the ability to let us in on a little bit of insight, or even just things that we may not have even been able to like really know or ask, because they may be just in a mood to tell us, right? So I don't know, I really again am really interested in that stuff. But let me know in the comment section down below if you didn't know any of this stuff, if you're just finding this out. Again, I know I'm a little late, but I am currently in the process of moving. So yeah, I'm going to get the videos out rolling, man. I appreciate all of you guys that have been supporting the content. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Everyone, stay blessed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.